Hey there, I'm Power Hobo, back with another devlog from the Star Plateau, and somehow everything is still working. Mostly. A technical headline first. I've officially migrated the project from Unity 2022 to Unity 6.2. There wasn't really a game-specific reason, but it turns out there was a pretty nasty vulnerability in prior versions, so the upgrade was not optional. It fought me, of course, crashed on loading the project the first time through some compiling tantrums, but after a lot of rage Googling and a little refactoring, everything is running smooth again. The moon finally has a face. The first playable region, what I call the starting island even though it's, well, not, now has its primary topography painted in. That took me 2 weeks. Setting up tile rules sounds intimidating, so I hand place and layer all of the tile maps, at least until I built a scatterer tool and filled the map with variant terrain, pebbles, and rocks in under an hour. I might have to figure out rule tiles. There's still a lot of map left to do. The scatter tool isn't perfect. I still have some detail and cleanup passes left, and I wouldn't trust it to place my craters, which I love, by the way. But the bulk of the starting island terrain is done, and it finally looks like a place someone might crash land on. I created an internal monologue system, basically the player characters running commentary on the world. The existing dialogue box is essentially a communicator screen, so it didn't make sense for things that the character would be thinking. It lets me sprinkle in bits of context like, it's just a regular rock, when the player tries to mine something unmineable, or small environmental notes that add some personality to exploration. It's a simple feature, but it lets me call attention to things the player might otherwise miss, and gives the world a little bit of snark, which, let's be honest, is pretty on brand for me. To make early survival a little less brutal, I added temporary oxygen crystal nodes. They act as a short-term safety net. Break them open, you get a burst of breathable air. I was able to reuse most of the existing mining system for this, thankfully, and an additional subtle animation and some screen VFX helped bring it to life. They're finite though, so you can't just live off of them forever. They're just there to ease players into the early game before they've properly upgraded their O2 tanks or built powered outposts. Speaking of easing players into the early game, I've also built the footprint system, which isn't just a visual detail, it's a game mechanic. Every step the player takes leaves a footprint in the lunar dust, and those footprints stick around for as long as the atmosphere is thin, which is most of the early game. Once the world's atmosphere level climbs high enough for wind to exist, those prints will start fading over a few in-game days. The wind literally erases your travel history. The system handles directional changes, layering across elevations, and automatically disables footprints indoors and in places the footprints just shouldn't appear. It sounds minor, but in practice I think it's really satisfying. Not only does it make the surface feel soft and dusty and real, it actually helps you find your way home when you're exploring early on. The Star Plateau isn't small, and no one enjoys dying just because they got lost in a new game world they're not used to yet. So it gives the player a breadcrumb trail made of moo dust. I could just give the player a map from day one, but no. Now, quick clarification before anyone yells feature creep. These are all boxes straight off the design document, not random new ideas I chased at 3 a.m. I am painfully aware that this game's scope is already ambitious, to say the least, so I'm staying very conscious of what's planned versus what's shiny and exciting and new. That said, I also know these aren't the features I said I'd be working on in the last devlog, but that's just how my brain operates. I follow the squirrels. If I'm motivated to paint landscapes or write code for footprints, I'm doing that instead of staring at a to-do list. That's everything for this round. Next on the list, finishing those terrain detail passes and working on the cutscene controllers, which I did start on, by the way. Thank you for watching, truly. If you'd like to stick around and watch this game evolve, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. You can also join the Discord to stay in orbit. For now, I'm Power Hobo. Stay dusty out there.